Welcome, everyone, to another edition of 10 Years, 10 Stories, where I am going back over the last 10 years of my business and having some wonderful chats with people who have had an impact on me and my work and my business along the journey. I am thrilled today to welcome Anne Maree Wilshire from Vibrant Voices in to have a chat. Anne Maree is an absolutely magic voice and presentation coach who has worked with me in refining my voice and the way I show up on video and on stage. And I've also had the pleasure of working with Anne Maree as a client, helping her refine her message and build her confidence in marketing her business. And so we are joined by both being clients and contributors and colleagues to each other, as well as being in a goals group together. So I'm thrilled that you've joined me for a chat, Anne Maree. Thank you for being here.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure, Amy. It's a delightful thing to have a chat with you at any point. So,
I completely agree. I completely agree. I've been looking forward to this. I would love to start by you sharing with us how you came to be in your business, Vibrant Voices.
it's such a tricky one because really the business Vibrant Voices is many layers of experience, education, my passion for learning. As soon as I learn something new, I immediately go to how can I share this with others and my brain starts firing, how I can put it together. And so my background originally, I was a performer, a singer-songwriter. I've toured around Australia in various shows and in concerts and festivals and things. And I took that experience into working in corporate as a consultant for leaders, how they use their voice and how they present. Then over time, I got more and more skills in my kit that was around the quality of leadership, collaboration, etc. And that's kind of kept developing so that now I have, well, five passions, I suppose you'd say:
Yeah.
voice, mindset, which is so integral, authenticity, message, and movement. And for me, there's all of those together create the presence and the authenticity and the uniqueness that we all have. So I have kept evolving that to now it's the distillation of what I most love to do, which is to empower people to trust themselves, trust their unique voice, and put it out with audacious power.
Yes. And I love that. I love that about you. I feel it makes you so unique in the way that you approach your work that I have certainly benefited from in my presenting skills and just in building my confidence in showing up and being able to show up on camera in particular, because that is becoming more and more and more common now that, as business owners, we have to be at the face of our business and we have to show up on Instagram or in, online workshops or on podcasts or on a huge range of online digital delivery mechanism for our marketing and our message. And so that's made a real difference to me. Have you noticed, because you've been doing this for a very long time. You're incredibly experienced.
Very long time.
Very long time. You are such a specialist. You are just so honed in your skill and what you do. Have you noticed that this is a skill that more and more and more of us are needing in our
Yes.
businesses, or, particularly in the digital era?
I think the whole pre-COVID COVID just kicked this into superdrive. And and I think there's a few things. So absolutely. And I think that a lot of people who before were just kind of slob around in the back of a meeting room, now they're needing to turn up. And and the thing I also notice is that I think personal brand has become much more crucial.
Mm.
So, I work with high level international leaders and they so know their stuff. But very often they're selling themselves short in terms of, I am a powerful leader. Like they're not necessarily conveying that in how they're connecting and how they're articulating their message and turning up. And so I think that's becoming more and more essential because the game's got hotter. There are more people
Yes,
vying for that now. And it's the ones who can turn up and go, hi, I'm here and I'm fabulous, that get the opportunities. So, yeah, I think that's becoming more crucial
yes,
across many, many areas of business. And I think it's
absolutely.
also got trickier because managing it online can do your head in. I know
Yes,
what you're doing in a room, but what are you doing when you've got a whole lot of little squares on the thing and you're trying to look intelligent and connected? And so it requires us to have a lot more personal presence and be really grounded in order to have that be compelling.
and I think too, just having the confidence in ourselves as well, because sometimes when we're presenting, I know for me, I do, Instagram reels and stories and things. That's one of my communication channels, and you get no feedback. Like in the process of
Yes,
delivering the message that you're
that's
delivering,
right.
you are literally delivering to yourself.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's right.
and so
Yeah,
to feel empowered in your voice, to feel empowered in your message, and have presence even in the absence of being present with others,
yeah,
and still being able to, command and hold and make your message really clear has been a key skill for me that you have supported me so strongly with. And I tell people now, of course, and I know that you know this, but I tell people I've become a bit of a one take wonder now with these things where my work with you has meant that when I get on to record anything in the absence of an audience, I can still get on, I can get it done. And I spend so much time because I think, and we all do this in marketing, we spend so much time trying to tweak and tweak and tweak and tweak. And the work I've done with you has been super valuable in getting some of the time back into my schedule to do other things because I've been able to really hone my voice and hone my message and think about it as something that I can continually improve, much like our brand and
yeah.
how our brand story shows up in lots of different places. It's something that we need to work on all the time.
Yeah, I'm so thrilled you say that because I feel like one of the things that I do when I'm working with people is I do save them time and angst.
Yes.
It and that just it's not only the physical time, it's the gut wrenching time. It's the self doubt. It's the, oh my God, I have to throw that in the bin and do it again. And the fact that there are templates, there are strategies that mean you can consistently do it every time. It is
Yes.
empowering. Yeah.
It is so empowering. And I can speak
Yeah.
to that from personal experience, having worked with you. Now, we've worked with each other for a while now. We know each other quite well too, because we are blessed enough to be in a goals group together. And for those watching who aren't familiar with goals group, Anne Maree and I are in a group there's 5 of us all together, all small business women. And we jump on a call every couple of weeks to support each other and nurture each other and hold each other accountable for the things that we commit that we're going to do in our business. And it's a space of love, our goals group. I really do feel that it's such every couple of weeks. If I've had a great week, I've got someone to celebrate with. And if I've had not such a great couple of weeks, I get support from you wonderful ladies to keep going and pick myself up by the bootstraps and move forward. But we actually met, and the reason we're in that goals group together is because we met through another network, her business. That's how we know each other, isn't it?
It is how we know each other. And
Yes.
I think when that really kind of took seed, if you like, was when we were on the women entrepreneurs retreat in
Yes.
Hawaii for 5 days. And we just kind of was like a grass fire. We just lit each other up.
I agree. Yes, because we had been like we knew of each other.
Yeah.
And when you're in a big network like that, sometimes that happens, doesn't it? Like, but sort of, of people, but they sit on the periphery for whatever reason. And then we landed together at the retreat and suddenly there was magic and there it was. And we were on our way. And then you joined the goals group and the rest, as they say, is history. And I've been supporting you to put some systems around your marketing because, as I've been saying, you're such an expert at what you do with such a depth of knowledge that it can sometimes be challenging in that space to work out how to refine the message and how to pull,
what to leave out.
what to take,
Literally.
what to leave out,
Yeah.
how to bring, literally decades of experience into a marketing system that supports you rather than making you feel overwhelmed, much in the same way we can feel overwhelmed when we're presenting in groups. But tell me a bit about the work that we've done together, and I'm in particular interested about brand story strategy, because I know that you had done some elements of brand story strategy before. You were fairly clear on your values and you were fairly clear on your vision as well. But how did brand story strategy kind of bring all the pieces together for you?
Yeah, because it certainly did. I think when you look at each of those pieces separately, it's like you look through a certain colored glasses, if you like.
Mhm.
But when you have them all, not only when you bring them together, but also when you, Amy, creators coming in through a particular direction for each of them. And then you see the different elements together and you can see them from a very different perspective. So, I mean, for example, I've done a lot of my ideal client. I've had interviews, I knew a
Yes.
fair amount about what was needed. Don't say I felt super comfortable, but I did it. And then when I did brand story strategy, the way you approach that, the kind of questions you ask, just those refinements that created different answers, different data, and then how to bring that data together from the vision, the values, the client stories, all the different aspects. It was a much deeper and richer experience to do all that together. And I think the piece that is also interesting is to have someone who can just tap the edges when you stray, you know. And by stray, I mean like, oh, dear God, this is so hard. This is so confronting, this bit, I just want to crawl under a rock. And Amy goes, no, there's a template for that. Bam, 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 and you go, all right, grit my teeth. And so the quality of information that I got and the capacity for you to see me for who I am and hear what I'm really saying, and with very few words often, be able to articulate it and concretize it so that I knew how to go forward with it is really profound. And I just felt so, so, so supported. And it's such a different experience from, doing another course and here's all the data and you go away and do it. And then you put in the odd question and you come back out again and you go, okay, God, I hope it's on track. That program is holds us so deeply
Oh, I'm
and
so
and
glad.
creates a lot of momentum, a lot of momentum in a short time. And it's like having to walk the Kokoda Trail, and there are some Kokoda Trail bits,
Yes.
but you keep pushing us through. So we
Yes.
don't get stuck and go too hard, bye, see you next year.
And I do think that's the reason a lot of people perhaps do some elements of brand story in parts. Because when we look at our values, it's easy to sort of go, oh, okay, here's a way for me to, a step-by-step process for me to work out what my brand values are. Or I'm fairly clear on my vision and I know what my vision is. But when we strip it back even further and we just take it down another level and we line it up with personality and we understand how our values connect to our brand personality and we understand how important our differentiators are and we understand how to ask questions of our clients that help us get to the juicy stuff so that we're getting answers to questions that we were only ever answering at the surface level before.
Yeah.
It's hard work. It's
Mm.
hard work, but at the same time, that's what makes it super valuable, is that once we do that hard work and we lay the foundations, we have a real understanding of who our customer is, that, we can start to make magic out of that. It takes what we know to a whole other level and actually creates a pathway for us to implement instead of our values simply being something we pop on our website. And never consider about how they impact our business in a positive way, how they can be a massive driver of attracting the right type of client into our business. Because at the end of the day, that's what we all want.
That's right. Absolutely. I think the thing I would most say as we're talking here now is that brand story strategy allowed me to find the DNA of my brand, like the real core pieces, and then how that shows up in all the different elements in my business. And the other thing is that is such an extraordinary program, because then when I went forward and started working with you on a one-on-one consulting into my business, we had this map
Yes.
that meant we can leap off and be so much more productive and efficient in putting into place all the systems or the social media or rewording websites and sale pages and things like that. So it's just a very wonderful experience, I reckon.
Oh, thank you so much. One of the things that I love the most about running the workshop in this group environment, and I mean, I love working one-on-one with my clients too, but particularly for brand story strategy, I think there's so much value in doing it together with a few of us in a group.
Absolutely.
Just the insights that everybody brings, because, I'm a specialist at what I do, but you're also a specialist at what you do. And it was Jeanette, I think, that went through with you, and she was a specialist at what she did. And we all bring life experience and world experience and a different set of glasses that we can apply to each other's experience. And I
I
just
think
I just
so
love that.
valuable. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
inspiring too. And even when you kind of you're in the go to trail bit and you're stuck in the mud and you go, oh my God, I'm like a failure, and everyone else go, and then you come into the group and other people are struggling with the same thing, and
Yes.
you just kind of go, oh, it's okay, it's the process, it's not something missing.
No, that's
So
exactly right. And I think brand story strategy, it really is, because it's the DNA, it's the hard work. But once we can get to it, then we make so many other things in our business easier. We make the choices around what products and services we want to put into place. We make the choices around marketing. We make the choices around messaging. Those all become clearer because we have a launching point from which to guide us. Like you said, a map. It's a map.
yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
100%.
So I
I,
loved it.
and I loved having you do it. As I have said, you are decades of not just experience in your industry, but in business. You are, who I hope to be in a few years' time from a business knowledge point of view. You just, I think, have so much to share. So I would love to know what you think are the most significant things that have changed in your business in the last 10 years. And they can be micro or they can be macro in how you want to approach that question.
I love the way you ask easy questions. I really appreciate that, because again, I think it's multifaceted, and
Yeah.
as you ask that question, I think the thing that jumped into my mind first, so no particular order, I'm much more audacious than I was 10 years ago. So, I've had a long career. I've worked in organizations. I've consulted to many organizations. I run my own business. There's always been that thing of, what's the right way to do it, how
Yes.
to turn up. And it's like I'm at the point now where I'm going, the only game I'm willing to play is the one that I enjoy playing. I have played enough. I've earned the right, if you like, to do it my way. And if it's not working, then I don't think I want to play. Thank you very much. So I think over the last 10 years, it's been an evolution to making choices and as much saying no to things as saying yes to other things. So that I've sort of kind of finding that pathway to distilling it to what I most love at this point in my career. So I
Yes.
think that's one of the things that's changed. I think another thing that's changed, and I think this is a bigger zeitgeist as well, is that I am much more technology focused, and part
Yeah.
of that is the whole digital era. And there are so many more things that were accessible for us now that weren't 10 years ago for small businesses. So and this hurt as much as the Kokoda Trail in brand story strategy, but bringing in a lot of that technical support,
Yes.
learning up, how to use everything from online calendars to CRMs to like so many elements that I now take for granted, or AIs and transcription that I use in my business on a daily basis. That is definitely new in the last 10 years. And I think as a result of that too, I am much more automated and systemic. And this is another thing that working with you is the next layer with that,
Yes.
systemizing my templates, my content to that next level, because that's the stuff where I get angsty. And
Yes.
if I can have that, reasonably bedded down and consistent, then it's the creative thought I'm spending time doing rather than the, oh, how does this work? Let me Google the problem again.
Yes. And
So
I
that's changed
love
a lot.
that. It is very interesting, the landscape that we're in currently in business, because I think, technology has opened up so many doors
Yeah.
for small businesses that just were not open before because there was not the budget to invest in
Yeah.
technology. Whereas as technology has improved and refined, it's so much more accessible than it used to be. But then on the flip side of that, it also brings with it some challenges in
Headaches.
the sense that there are so many more possibilities. And so strategy has become something that I think in small business, we're very good often at going, oh, I'm going to do this and oh, I'm going to do that because we
The
have
bright,
we
shiny
have the
objects.
bright, shiny objects. Yeah, because we have
Yeah.
the luxury of being able to pivot very quickly, which is a massive
Yes.
advantage.
Yeah.
Uh, but it's more of an advantage if we can leverage it via strategy, which I think has become a little bit of a forgotten art in small business. I'm starting to see it come back for sure, being able to leverage the technology strategically so that it works harder for us rather
Yes.
than making us
We're
the
kind of
masters of
thrift.
it. Yeah, yeah,
Because there
exactly,
are days that feel
exactly.
like that. Um,
Oh, yeah.
but the
Oh,
other
yeah.
thing I think that's changed in the last 10 years as a result of becoming much more of an online thing is that I have more international work. I've got more
Yes.
national work. I can bring communities together from all around Australia for a program, whereas before I'd be flying over and it would be a 3-day commitment to just to get there and to do something. So I think that's changed as well. There's a lot more opportunities that have opened up as a result of being able to go online.
Yeah, absolutely. It's given us agility.
Yeah, it has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's an interesting conversation from the perspective of being women as well, in the sense that, typically motherhood was something that would stall a career and certainly potentially stall a small business from the person not being able to show up. But, from my perspective with two small children, having access to the technology has definitely meant that I've not had that same stall in my business that perhaps I would have had I started 30 years ago and been trying to be a mother then. It just wouldn't have been possible. So the agility that it's given us has, yeah, really changed small business.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's allowed us, it's sort of like as a singer-songwriter and a performer, there was a time X number of years ago where if you wanted to record something, you paid hundreds and thousands of dollars. You
Yes.
went to a studio, somebody digitalized, and then you went out with a CD or something like that. And so now you can do a lot of that at home and then take it in for a master later. Same with the entrepreneur now. There's
Yes.
so much that we can do to at least get the foundation of what we want and our vision articulated and the visual of that, and then take it out to someone to polish it. And I think that's a radical difference. You couldn't do that before.
No, absolutely not. And for me, with a background in film and television and, all these big, heavy cameras it used to be
Oh,
so expensive
absolutely.
to produce anything.
Oh,
And I remember, so it reminds me actually of when YouTube first appeared and everybody was worried that that would be the death of videographers or high quality video production. And I think this is an interesting conversation because obviously AI is about to revolutionize the business industry again, or the world again. But there's been lots of poignant points in history where some new technology has been thought to be the death knell of the thing that came before it. And what I find so fascinating is that actually it made all of us double down. So whilst YouTube, it did sound the death knell of having to carry around enormous cameras, the technology caught up to facilitate the delivery system
yeah.
so that everybody could start contributing things. And yes, we got billions of cat videos, but we but we also got access to some really amazing minds that
Yeah.
we perhaps would not have gotten access to had the technology become available to be able to access, those
Yes.
people, for those people to be able to get their message out there. So it's definitely been a time of niching, of the long tail, short tail conversation, and marketing has, the technology around marketing has opened up doors for small businesses without sounding the death knell for technology that came before. We all still go to the movies, not in exactly the same way as we did before, but we still do. We still do go to the movies. We still listen to the radio. We still do all of these things. So it's interesting because I think that there's space for everything.
Mm.
And it's just kind of almost a realignment of where things fit and how we're going to use them in order to achieve the thing that we want
And
to achieve.
I think when these changes happen, they can be quite painful at times. They
Yes.
also bust paradigms.
Yes.
And as a result of that, we come up with new, fresher ways of doing things.
Yeah, absolutely. So on that, thinking about fresher ways of doing things and things that are coming into the future, you work with a lot of businesses with big businesses from a leadership point of view and smaller, very entrepreneurial businesses. So you are someone who has an opportunity to see the landscape of how business is shifting and what changes might be around the corner. So I'm talking about looking back over the last 10 years of my business, but I've been asking all of my interviewees what they think will be next for business. What do you think might be on the horizon? What are you seeing? What trends are you seeing? What do you feel might be around the corner as we move into the next 10 years?
Well, I think my values are going to come to the fore at this point. So
Yeah,
I'm going to say as much what I would aspire to happen.
I love that. I love that.
But this is something that immediately connected me with you, and because we both share the belief that we can be kick-ass businesswomen and have heart.
Yes.
And I believe that AI and a lot of the things that are happening at the moment, a lot of the robotics that are coming in, sucking the soul out of a lot of communication, connecting that people do. It's like, oh my God, there's a real person on the helpline. My goodness, what isn't you want to know? So I would love to think that our capacity to have compassion, to
Yes.
deeply listen to each other, to be able to articulate back with respect in all levels of communication and collaboration. That's what I would love to see come to the fore. And I do feel it's become more and more a common language. When I was first working with conflict resolution and collaboration skills and working with difference in multinational organizations that had people from all planets, all
Yes.
countries working within them, it was still a little bit on the outer.
Yes.
But now I believe that most organizations, that quality of compassion, that the collaborative conversations, the working challenges through effectively, all of that, that's the point of difference. And that is the difference between an organization that has a harmonious, high-performing team or one that just spends all their time fighting or not speaking. And I think in terms of entrepreneurship too, it's our capacity to be compelling and really connect with the people, whether it's on a Zoom call like this or whether it's live, that allows people to make deep relationship. And I would like to think that that is the piece that's going to become more obvious as we
Yes.
go forward. I don't know. What do you think?
Yes. I think we're about to enter the age of connection on a whole other level.
That would have been a lot quicker just to say that.
So no. But I think that what's been interesting is in these interviews is this is a theme. This is a theme that seems to be coming up, which is really heartening to me because as I said to somebody already, I've been banging on about the connection thing for ages. It is one of the things that technology has enabled us to do. It has connected us globally in a myriad of different ways. And what I would like to see is, I think we're about to enter the next evolution of connection. And I think that will be driven by AI as a way of distinguishing human authenticity and brand authenticity on the opposite spectrum of AI. And I'm a huge proponent of AI. I think AI is an amazing tool, but it is a tool.
It's a tool, not the master.
Yeah, that's right. And so I think that this is an opportunity for us as business owners, as humans, to step up the way in which we authentically connect with each other, and by extension, brand and voice and presence are going to be just some of the most important things to business moving forward into the next decade. We are going to be under the microscope as business people, as brands, more than we ever have been before. And the wheat will separate from the chaff very quickly, I think.
I agree.
Anne Maree, this has just been such a wonderful conversation, as are all the conversations I have with you. So I am left in awe, but not surprised. And I just want to say thank you so much for joining me to have a chat and talk about your business. And thank you for being on this journey with me and having had such a wonderful impact on my business and my personal brand.
Well, thank you. I would like to say thank you to you for being who you are and your capacity to hold each of our businesses in their multitudes of diversity, but to hold them with care and thoughtfulness and expertise so that we feel empowered and confident to go out there to bigger audiences. And you do it with such grace and efficiency. I think two good words, eh? Yeah, I was just so thrilled when I found you. There was no one else. I was like, it has to be Amy. So
Thank you
you for
so
being
much,
who
Anne
you are.
Maree. Oh, thank you. Such kind words, and I appreciate them so much. And I appreciate you